Hello and welcome to what I hope is my fruitful journey into spinning. So today is Monday, February 26th, and I'm gonna try to use a drop spindle for the first time. I have tried a few times to use a Turkish drop spindle, which looks like this, but I think that this isn't the most beginner friendly tool. I think that it will be useful later, but not good at first. So I ended up buying a more traditional drop spindle, which has this hook on the top, and I hope is easier to get the hang of drafting and spinning on to start with. It feels huge, like it's the size of my head. Um, so tell me if this is a huge drop spindle, but maybe it'll be easier to start with a larger one because I've heard it'll spin slower if it's larger. It does mean I won't be able to make as thin of yarn, but I probably wasn't going to make that thin of yarn anyways, so it's okay. So we're going to try tonight to spin a little bit of yarn and see if I can get started. The fiber I have here is this beautiful combed top of 100% Polworth fibers. It is from Jakira Farms and it was hand dyed. I saw some people talking about how using hand dyed yarn or hand dyed fiber is really motivating to spin because you get to see how it works up. And I agree and felt like this was good motivation to start something new. So hopefully I can spin up a little bit of it tonight. There have been a few false starts, hence this little pile of fibers. Hopefully that was because of the drop spindle, but I will say I have not watched a full tutorial. I definitely could be more learning more before just trying it, but I'm so used to knitting, and so my attention span for tutorials is so short because with knitting at this point, like I can watch the first 2 minutes of a tutorial or skip to the part I need and get it a lot quicker. And so my brain feels like it's melting when I'm trying to watch a 20-minute tutorial. So I could be better on the tutorial front, and so I'm really just winging this and basing it off of what I've seen other people do on like Instagram Reels or in the first 5 minutes of a tutorial. So I don't have the highest hopes for this first attempt, but maybe I can do something and that'll motivate me to do more and get better. So let's just try it and we'll see what happens. Okay, you could probably tell from the last clip, this is not going well. I have this thick, this is not yarn, it's just fiber. And then the thinnest yarn known to man, I could floss my teeth with this, and then just thick, thick, thick again. And then it just broke off my drop spindle. So I'm really struggling with getting the yarn or the fiber to be kind of thin enough or little enough to actually spin without it just kind of falling off. I don't know if like it's definitely me. I feel like it's not the fiber, but it feels like all the pieces of the fiber break at the exact same point. And so once I reach that point, they just like fall apart. And so I'm struggling with that. I think it's a me problem, but I'm struggling. Um, and I feel like all the tutorials I did go and watch, like half a tutorial, and they all are just like, so put it on the spindle. And I'm like, how do I get this fiber on the spindle? I have like a starter this time, but I don't know. So I like put some yarn and like looped it onto my drop spindle, and it kind of worked. There's like a tiny bit of fiber on the end here, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm learning a whole new skill. It's going to take time, but I'm confused, and I think that maybe starting this after work on a Monday isn't the best, and I should start it. Stop it. And I should start it on a weekend when I have more time. So I'll try again. I'll try again later. But I think that I don't want to get so frustrated right now that I give up. So we're going to call this attempt number 1. Feel bad about it, but that's okay. Okay, so it has been about 2 weeks, I think, if not more, since I last tried spinning. It is now Saturday, March 23rd, and I actually found a class to attend at one of my local yarn stores and was able to spin a little bit. So here's the first drop spindle I used while there, and this is a nice BFL fiber. I don't know what brand it is or anything about it other than it was 100% BFL. The class just provided a little bit of the fiber. Here's the fiber unspun that I still have a little bit of, and this was a combed top to work with. Then I also was able to try out my drop spindle or my Turkish spindle and get a little bit on there. It's definitely pretty, let's see, thick and thin. I have to like cover my face for it to, I don't know. I can't fully get it to focus, but it's thick and thin. There's spots where I could definitely do better, but I could knit from it, so that's cool. I learned I have to spin it clockwise, and then like the biggest thing that I'm working on is drafting's really hard for me. And we're doing long draft is what I learned. So I want to hold where it's still fiber and then have the spin and then unspin it with, so I hold with my right hand and draw it out. And then with my left hand, I have to pinch where it's too thick, unspin that, and then pull to draw it, and then move that, let the spin come up. So honestly, I just need to practice the consistency. So I just need to be practicing more often. I think I'll play with this a little bit. We also learned how to make an Andean bracelet or Andean bracelet to then ply from, so that you can ply the two ends together, which is really nice. It's a way of wrapping it around your hand and then putting it on your wrist so that you can pull from the two ends to then ply back onto your spindle. So I'm excited to try that out too. I think that I might just finish spinning up this little bit of fiber and then try to ply it and just have like the tiniest little hank ever. So yeah, I'll probably insert some clips of me doing that over the next few days, few weeks. We'll see. It's still really hard. I don't know. Just it's learning a whole new thing with my hands, so it's gonna take some time. But I'm trying. I'm still here, and it was nice to get some external help. And the other people in the class were also great and provided some external validation about this is really hard to get down, and it's not just me. So yeah, it was great, and hopefully I'm back here in a few days with some success and excited to show you what comes next. Okay, what I'm doing here with Fig so lovely in the background is plying. So I'm getting all of the fiber off of the drop spindle and then onto my wrist so I can use the both ends and ply it together. I made an Andean bracelet and then, just spun it back onto my spindle to ply it. I made yarn! It's a 2-ply. I used an Andean bracelet to wind it all together so I could ply from the 2 ends, and now I have yarn. It's very lumpy and different sizes and different kind of levels of spin throughout, but I made it, so that's really cool. And next steps, I'm gonna leave it on here for tonight, and then I am gonna make it into like a loop, some loops. I think you're supposed to soak it and then dry it, and then I can skein it up or cake it up and knit from it. So that'll be coming very soon. But I had to just pop in and show the yarn I applied. So this was fun. I'm definitely still not great at spinning. It's still, I don't know, my yarn is very thick and thin. But it balances itself out over time, and it's just kind of fun to do. The drafting is getting more organic of a movement to kind of do that untwist, pull it apart without like snapping it apart. But there were still a few times where I was trying to spin and the yarn would suddenly, like, I got it too thin and it would break, or just a spot where it was too thick. So that's just practice though. So I know the basics. I knew how to ply, and I'm so excited to do the next step so that I can actually knit a little something with this. It'll probably just be the tiniest little swatch, but that's still so exciting. So, okay, talk soon. All right, I'm coming at you with a quick little spinning update, and look at my tiny little skein. I think this is about 6 yards of yarn, or 4 grams. So it took me about 2 weeks to make this guy, but I'm pretty proud of him. I mean, it's definitely thick and thin. There's also some spots where, like oh my gosh, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but right about here, yeah, that little thread, the yarn, or the yarn I'd spun was so thin that when I went to ply it, it broke there. So there's kind of some, like a little loose piece that is unwinding that's very thin and sticking up, but otherwise, like, it's pretty good. It's not fully consistent, but I didn't expect it to be. And on my little chart here, it looks like maybe it's about a DK. So that's really cool. It's very stretchy. Here's like just the end. I think it looks so good. It looks like yarn. So I'm really proud of that. Even if took me a really long time, but I already started my second spin, and look how much I have of this one. This is the Polworth fiber that I started trying to spin with and was thoroughly defeated by, and now I did this in like 2 evenings, and this has more yarn on it than this whole thing. So that's really exciting that I'm progressing a lot quicker now, and I'm really enjoying this spin. I went yesterday to a lake by me and just sat and spun outside for a little while, which was so lovely. I took a little video, so you'll probably see some of it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm very proud of my little skein, even if it's kind of pathetic, but I did all the steps, and now I'm really happy to be working on yarn that will go towards an actual project. So I neglected to measure or weigh my drop spindle before I started the spin, which I meant to do so I could know how much I have on here. But that's okay. I'm just going to spin until it's a lot, and then I'll make a project with it. So there's definitely going to be a lot more on here, but I'll spin it until the drop spindle feels full. I'll ply that up once it's full, see if it's enough for a project. Once I weigh that, and then maybe I'll spin a little bit more if I need to, or just start my project. But so exciting, and I think it looks really nice on the Turkish drop spindle. So yeah, I'm in the full swing of it. I'm enjoying spinning now compared to the beginning where I was so frustrated. So that feels really great. But yeah, I'll be back with an update soon. Hi, this is kind of a chaotic spinning update. I should have updated before I started doing my Andean bracelet, but I decided that my spindle was getting too full to really support, or just the yarn when I was spinning couldn't support it anymore, and it was breaking frequently. So I'm spinning or getting the yarn off of the spindle. I'm gonna ply it, and then I'll continue spinning on. So here's where I am right now. I'll of course show some of the process. I made my bracelet too tight. My finger's turning purple though. I gotta finish this up so I can restore blood flow to my finger. Okay, bye. Oh gosh, and an hour and a half later, I've plied all of my yarn onto here. Sorry, the lighting's not great, so it's not focusing well. It's like 10 p.m. right now, but it's all plied. I was going to kind of pull it all off tonight so I could soak it and have it ready to skein up tomorrow and weigh and figure out the wraps per inch all tomorrow morning, but I'm really tired, and the thought of taking it off of this spindle again and putting it onto my hank doesn't sound fun. So I think that I'll do that tomorrow. My shoulder blade really hurts from doing all of that, so I'm gonna rest, and I'm just happy it's all plied now and I can empty it fully tomorrow. Hello, and check out my little nitty naughty. I just ordered this. It's like a 3D printed nitty naughty. It has extenders to make it 2 yards, but I have it on the 1 yard version, and I just wound my spun yarn off of my drop spindle onto this so that I could count it and then skein it up. So I have 41 yards of yarn on here, which is awesome. And yeah, I'm gonna take it off of here, tie it up, soak it, and then I'll skein it and do the wraps per inch count. It's definitely inconsistent. Like you can see, that's pretty like a thick piece, and then some I'm very proud of. Like look at, I don't know, I'll just kind of spread it like that. These look like yarn. It's not like overly, you can't really tell it's like super plied. It just looks spun, or like, yeah, it just looks like yarn. So the middle of my yarn was awesome, where like the end of plying it, where I was plying the two middles together, looked great because I was pretty consistent in the middle. Near the end of my spin, I got very thin because the spindle got heavy, and at the beginning my yarn was thicker, and then those ended up being paired together. So I've ended up with some strands like this, where it's just like a super thin strand wrapped around a pretty thick strand, which like not my favorite look, but then the middle of it looks pretty awesome. So I'm taking it as a win, and I'll show you once it's in skein and I can tell you the weight of it. Hello. Last night after I filmed the clip of all the yarn on the nitty naughty, blocked the yarn or soaked it. Hi Kepler. And then I've just put it on to my Swift to be able to do the wraps per inch. And I'm getting 12 wraps per inch, which is equivalent to a sport weight. I'm gonna double check as well, like putting it through the grooves here. And obviously there's a lot of variation. There's probably some more like DK weight, maybe even like worsted strands within the yarn. And then there's probably some like fingering to lace weight even. But an average of sport weight, it seems, which is cool. I was aiming for DK, so I'm a little bit thinner than that, but I'll take it. So yeah, now it'll just live as a cute little skein until I can knit it up. I also have to weigh it, but I told you yesterday how many yards I had. I forget now, but I've got my yards, I'll get my weight, and I have my wraps per inch. So I made yarn, and I'm now categorizing it. How exciting. Hello, it's been a while on the spinning updates, and it's a Sunday morning. I'm about to eat breakfast, and I'm running a load of laundry that you can probably hear, so sorry about any background noise, but today is the day that I'm finally going to knit something up with my spun yarn. So I had originally wanted to spin enough yarn to make a Sophie scarf or a similar kind of just scarf, that like scarflet thing that I could wrap around my neck or wear in my hair. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the way I'd mostly want to wear that is in my hair. And this is 41 yards. I need double this at least to make a Sophie scarf. And I don't know, I want to give an update sooner rather than later. So I'd rather make something that I can just wear in my hair that's a little smaller. So I am making the Dahlia hair bow. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Here's a little picture of it. So I'm gonna make that, and if I have enough yarn, I'll probably make a matching scrunchie too and garter that I could like tie the bow around to just have the scrunchie in. You'll see the vision as I go on, but I'm gonna turn this into a little ball. I thought about caking it up using like my Swift and winder, but I think it's honestly gonna be easier to make it into just a hand wound ball. So I'm gonna do that now. Hi, and to wrap up our finale of this learning to spin journey, I have my little finished object here. So it's kind of small because spinning takes a lot of time, and I only had 40 yards of yarn, so it's gonna be small. Hi, Kepler. Buddy. But what I ended up making was this little hair tie where I can kind of tie it around. I'm trying to demonstrate this and make it cute. But I can tie it around my hair like, it's not gonna be the cutest because I'm doing this live, but you can see how quick that took, and it looks like that. Or I can tie it around this scrunchie that I also made, and then I can also choose to put it up in this cute little bun, and then I have little ties, and I think that's really cute. I can put this at the top or at the bottom, whatever I feel like, or I could also, you know, tie my hair up with the scrunchie in a normal ponytail or a half up, half down, and have the cute little ties. So it's fun. It was a good way to use up the small amount of yarn I had because I really wanted to make a project with it. So I'm happy I was able to do that and make this cute little scrunchy hair bow combo. And I learned a lot. I think, you know, my next spins I will plan to use for larger projects and have them be more long term, but this was a really fun experience. It was really cool to make fiber turn into a scrunchie and a little hair tie. It took me, gosh, okay, so it's June 5th today. I finished this like 2 days ago, but I've been very busy, so it took me about 3 months to learn to spin, make the yarn, and then knit this up. So I'm happy with that 3-month journey, and I'm excited to see where the next, you know, couple months, years of spinning takes me. I'm already looking into maybe getting an e-spinner or something, because it would be nice if spinning was a little faster and a little easier on the body, because doing this motion over and over is definitely not the best for me in the long run. So yeah, more to come on the spinning, but I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy to have this little product to show, you know, I can make a scrunchie from scratch, from fiber to hair accessory. That's awesome. So cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's probably all over the place. It's been filmed over 3 months, so I'm really nervous and excited to edit it. But hope it turns out well. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks so much for being here. Let me know down below if you have ever tried spinning before, if you have any tips for me as I continue to progress in this journey, or if you haven't, are you interested in trying? Was this video helpful for that? Just let me know. I'd love to hear more from you all down below. So, all right, thank you, and I'll see you later. Bye.